Hello and welcome. In this video we will be discussing Careful Books by Cassandra Clare. This is one of the books in the Kickstarter, Seasons of Shadowhunter. I don't know if this book will ever be traditionally published. I know that Series on Blackthorn you can read it on Tumblr for free. Memorable Shadowhunter is the other book. It's mostly the same with the Kickstarter, and then Better on Black has been traditionally published. So I don't know if this book might be or this one won't be. I don't know that. Now, there's one of the reasons why I decided to do a video on Careful Books, because some people might say, like, if it is a low rating, don't do a video on it. No, I rated this book extremely low, and I'm going to be talking about it. I put the time and energy to read this book, and I will do a video on it if I want to yap about it. Number one. Number two, because it is potentially hard to find. I don't know how hard it is to find it. But because of that, if people want to theorize about the universe, the best way to do that is to read every one of the books. The Shadowhunter Chronicles books, right? And I don't mean that just to be like, you have to read all of them, you're not a real fan if you... No, you are a fan if you even read one of them and you liked it and you're reading in that. If you're reading the universe, I love that. What I am saying is, sometimes you have to read the codex if you want to accurately predict some things. That was me. Sometimes you have to read books you don't want to read in universe to be able to predict things. So, with that, I think that we can predict some things in this one. And I want to be talking about that. So, if you have not read this book and you might want to theorize and stuff like that and you don't want to, or if you simply don't even want to read it because you hold that it's so bad, or if you have and you're like, Cheyenne, that is a bad book, and I'm seeing that you also don't like it too. Yes, I actually do not like this book a lot. Those are some of the reasons. Also, theorizing, I will be insufferable when Wicked Powers in the last book of Elder Scrolls comes out. And I mean that. I have a whole entire family tree that I made when I was in high school about all of the main or big or any kind of connected family in universe. I have it. It's covered by my bookshelves over there, or I would potentially show it. I also didn't have the paper, the hardcover of Clockwork Princess, so I just made my own map that they gave, or not map, family tree. So yeah, like, I am a theorizer. I like to do theories for the universe of Shadowhunter Chronicles, so because of that, of course I'm going to be talking about one of the books when I have every intention of doing it for all the books that is going to come out. So that's why we're going to be talking about this, even though I rated this a 0.5. Now if you're like, wait, Cheyenne, I think I misheard you. I think that you said 0.5 and you didn't put a number before 0.5. You heard correctly. This is not a 1 star. This is below a 1 star. This is the worst Shadowhunter Chronicles book that I have ever read. This is the worst Cassandra Clare book that I have ever read. Yeah, I said that. This book is bad. In my humble opinion, which is why my star rating of this book is so low. Now, if you read this book and you go, Cheyenne, I like this book. This book was a 4-star for me, 5-star, 3-star. I love that for you, and I love that your opinion of it is so high. Mine is not, and the thing is, we can both have different star ratings for a book, and that won't change anything. It literally won't. So, I love that you loved it. I did not. So, let's get into this train wreck of a book. I'm going to put it down because it's kind of heavy. This book is broken into 4 different stories. The first one, the first one is the only Shadowhunter book. Okay, story 1, spoilers. We have Matthew profiling vampires when they broke no rules, broke no laws is what I was trying to say. In it, he's saying that glamour magic is illegal for vampires to do, which in the codex says that all of the Downworlds who can do magic can glamour. Not only that, but they can do greater magic, or greater glamour, and high rail they're doing from Shadowhunters. Now, here was the thing. He could have different accords than we do. We will have the accords and the laws up until the mortal instruments, up until I believe the 9th accord, because that is the edition that the Mortal Instruments crew is reading. So he could actually have a different edition. From the rules that we have, he was the one who broke the laws and rules by profiling vampires. And in fact, not only that, but the vampires did say later on, when they were saying it was self-defense, that if they would have known that they were vampires that they would not have done what they did, and they would have did things properly, but they thought they were alone on a ship. So they thought what they did was best. Here we are. And then them even almost eliminating Doyle, Eliminate, Sylvian and Matthew simply came from the idea of the old Shadowhunters. What would they have done? Which is, they won't believe it was self-defense, so bad things will happen to them. And let's be honest, Sylvian wanted bad things to happen to them. He did. So they acted. And I mean, like, why swear Matthew to the angel when it's Sylvian who wanted to do bad things? When it's Sylvian who didn't want to follow the rules? When it's Sylvian who might have loose lips? And the ownership too. Now, why am I being so harsh on Sylvian? I understand that his parabatai died, but you have to keep in mind, his parabatai died because vampires summoned a demon, and that demon killed a Shadowhunter. He is not special. Just because vampires did it, and then he sees vampires having a vacation, does not mean he gets to profile them. Does not mean he gets to stalk them. Does not mean that he gets to pass judgment on whatever they are doing and not listen to evidence, not listen to what is happening. They hold that scene. Him saying nothing justifies mortal. Okay. My question is, if he got them killed, what would have been his justification for that mortal? When it was self-defense. Everyone has a bad trauma, past event, especially in the Shadowhunter Chronicles, especially if you're a Shadowhunter. That does not mean you can profile vampires because you feel like it. You know what it felt like, and I literally said this to someone when I was reading this. It was the same thing in Tales of Shadowhunter Academy. Spoilers. When Valentine said, we have to hunt down the werewolves because the werewolves killed my family, so we have to go kill them. And then they went and did that, and they found out that the werewolves actually were innocent. And he just didn't like werewolves. And he had a prejudice against them. Yeah. Also trying to put Matthew in the same situation that his parabatai put him in. Yeah, I don't really like you and I don't really want you with Matthew. You literally put him in the same situation that your parabatai put you through. And we're also supposed to be supporting them when they have barely been together. And I don't want to hear anything about oh, Cheyenne, why are you so critical of they have barely been together and yet we are supposed to assume that they're happily ever after. So many characters have insta-love. Yes. So many characters have insta-love, and then they have trials and tribulations, and then they continue to stay together. It's not just insta-love and then wedding bells. It is, here we are, and it's definitely not, oh, we're both running away from our problems because we don't want to acknowledge and deal with the emotions that we have. And I'd be like, well, It's not necessarily wedding bells, no. But in a short story, that is the best we're gonna have with it. I don't know if in Better on Black they are mentioned. I don't like Sylvian, and I understand preconceived notion of Sylvian is his last name. And if we're looking at the Rolak last name, Sebastian took on that last name. So, yeah, I am going to look at that last name and think, is Cassandra Clare trying to say that maybe we can't trust this person because he has the same last name? Yeah. So I didn't trust him. And you know what? He tried to get Matthew to go into a very dangerous situation because he was profiling vampires. Now, here is the only thing I think is relevant for what is next to come in the series, if we have any theorizers out there. So we have a dream sequence. We have two of them, one at the beginning and one at the end of the story, which Christopher Kit Lightwood is described as having dark lavender eyes. Now, if you have not heard this, the first time I've heard this theory was pulling Banana's books. So, I will give her the credit of this theory. She brought up the fact that it's like lavender eyes. That's Warlock. Now, I think it's just like too much demon blood, and I think that that is why Christopher Lightwood and Christopher Herondale, we don't call him Christopher because he's like, don't ever call me that. So Kit Herondale lost Herondale, so they obviously have to be connected. So we know Christopher Kit has extra demon blood because of the demon pox thing. And then we have Kit has extra demon blood because I shouldn't say extra as if any of them have any, or they should have any, but because fairies in this world have both demon and angel. So, because he is very much related to very powerful fairies, yes, he does have demon blood in him. Same thing with Mike, because his mother is fairy. That is how fairies are in this world. So basically you have him saying like, oh, if any inventions need to be made or something like that, I'll come back. So we are alluding that he will probably come back as a ghost and wicked powers. Probably to do something with a gun, but I don't know. Next one, oh my gosh, Sherlock Holmes. This is obviously talking about Ty from this point on. Each story, I think, is representing the main characters, the main three of wicked power. So we have Ty, Sherlock Holmes, we have Drew, Wendy Darling, and then I forgot the main character's name, fake fan of whoever Kit is for the last story. Like, I'm like, that's obviously for Kit. Like, okay, the Foster, LA, okay, and also the fact that Wendy Darling was obviously Drew, and then Sherlock was obviously Ty. I'm like, okay, so this is obviously going to be for Kit. But story 2, super boring. I do think Mortuary did do it, and it's keeping Sherlock close to see if he'll figure it out. That's my humble opinion on what happened with the mystery side of it. I think the mystery is kind of boring, and if anything, it might be talking about how Ty, when he's in the school that he is in, he's not in the academy, he's in a twin school in the mountains, there might be a mortal mystery, or a mortal, like, whodunit, or he might be known for, like, mysteries. His like, favorite story is Sherlock Holmes, so that's kind of why I think that's him. And I don't know, I don't know, maybe we'll find Mortuary, Dale, whoever it is. Let's move on to Wendy Darling. That one was the most boring story out of it. Legitimately. Maybe I just don't like screenplays. The interesting thing that we have there is Peter Pan, who's obviously Ash. They're trying to help him. They're trying to make it so he doesn't get rereaded. And how we're introduced is in a dream, Wendy sees Peter Pan get rereaded. And I guess they help them. Like, okay. I feel like showing you're being very vague. Yeah. They are some of the most boring stories I've ever read. To the point in which I don't even want to say in its entirety or really give you much detail on the ones that are representing the other characters, because they are so boring, I think you would get bored. I'm going to be honest. If you're not already bored. So, let's move on to Kits. The last story. But also, they are being hunted down by fairy. Kit's being hunted down by fairies. So, obviously that's for him. Obviously, he and his parents are dead, and he was in the LA Institute with the Blackwoods, and now he's with Jem, so I can definitely see how that might be construed as foster care. Yeah. And if you like sharing, that's it. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. This is the World Shadowhunter Chronicles book that I have ever read, and I would not recommend it to anyone.